If you are over 65, there is something important that most people will never tell you, not because they are hiding it, but because they simply do not know. Every time you add salt to your food, every time you skip a walk because the weather feels uncomfortable, every time you forget to drink water or reach for that sugary snack, you may be quietly raising your risk of stroke. Stroke does not always announce itself. It can happen in your sleep, in the middle of your favorite show, or while you are preparing a simple breakfast. The frightening truth is that stroke remains one of the leading causes of disability and death in older adults. And yet up to 80% of strokes are preventable. The good news is that prevention does not require expensive machines or strict medical supervision. It begins with your daily choices, the habits you build into your morning, your meals, your walks, and even your bedtime. In this guide, I will walk you through 9 powerful yet simple habits you can begin today. These are not extreme routines. They are adjustments you can make right in your kitchen, your living room, or your garden. Each habit protects your arteries, calms inflammation, keeps your blood pressure stable, and strengthens the brain cells you rely on to stay independent. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. Now let us begin with the first habit, the one that sets the tone for your entire day. What you choose to eat for breakfast. Part 1. Breakfast that calms inflammation. Breakfast is not just a tradition. For seniors, it is a decision that shapes blood pressure, blood sugar, and vascular health for hours afterward. After 65, the body becomes far more sensitive to hidden sugar, sodium, and inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is often invisible. You do not feel it, but it slowly erodes the lining of your arteries, stiffens blood vessels, and encourages blood clots to form. A smart breakfast can turn this tide. The first category to focus on is omega-3 fatty acids. Seeds like chia and flax are extraordinary because they contain plant-based omega-3s that reduce inflammation in the arteries. A tablespoon of chia seeds stirred into oatmeal supplies more omega-3 than a piece of salmon, while also adding 5 grams of fiber. Harvard research has linked higher intake of these seeds with a nearly 30% lower risk of stroke. Next come the berries. Blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are rich in anthocyanins, dark pigments that act as antioxidants. These compounds protect artery walls from oxidative stress. In long-term studies, women who ate berries at least 3 times per week reduced their risk of stroke and heart attack by nearly a third. Combine them with oats for even more benefit. Unlike refined bread or sugary cereal, oats provide beta-glucan, a soluble fiber that sweeps LDL cholesterol out of your bloodstream. The American Heart Association recommends 25 grams of fiber per day, and a half cup of oats contributes 4 grams toward that goal. A sample recipe may look like this: half a cup of cooked oats, 1/2 of a banana sliced, half a cup of mixed berries, 1 tablespoon of chia seeds, several walnuts, and a spoonful of plain Greek yogurt for protein and probiotics. A dash of cinnamon provides flavor and further stabilizes blood sugar. This takes less than 10 minutes to prepare and creates hours of vascular protection. But there are traps to avoid. Flavored instant oatmeal packets often contain over a dozen grams of added sugar. A cup of orange juice, even labeled 100%, delivers 20 grams of sugar with no fiber. spiking blood glucose much like soda. Processed meats like bacon add hundreds of milligrams of sodium, pushing your blood pressure upward before your day even begins. The conclusion is clear. Build breakfast on whole foods rich in healthy fats, antioxidants, and soluble fiber. Avoid sugar and sodium bombs disguised as convenience. By doing so, you start your day with protection for your arteries and brain, not silent damage. If you think this first step is simple, wait until you discover how something as ordinary as water can either protect or endanger your brain. Part 2. Hydration and hidden sugar. Most people underestimate the power of water. Mild dehydration thickens the blood, making it more likely to clot. For seniors who already have stiffer vessels and slower circulation, this is dangerous. Studies show over 60% of ischemic stroke patients arrive at the hospital dehydrated. The reason is partly age. As you grow older, the thirst mechanism dulls. You may not feel thirsty even while your body craves water. The solution is to treat hydration as a scheduled habit, not a reaction to thirst. Aim for at least 6 to 8 cups spread throughout the day. Begin with 1 glass upon waking, 1 before each meal, and 1 mid-afternoon. Add lemon, cucumber, or mint for flavor if needed. Carry a small bottle when leaving the house and set reminders on your phone. Just this routine reduces clotting risk and stabilizes blood pressure. But hydration is sabotaged daily by refined sugar. Sugar pulls water out of tissues as the body struggles to balance blood glucose. Sweetened yogurts, bottled teas, breakfast bars, and juices can all contain 20 grams or more of sugar. The American Heart Association suggests limiting added sugar to under 24 grams daily for women and 36 grams for men. But most adults exceed this by breakfast alone. Beyond dehydration, sugar triggers inflammation in the vessel walls and raises insulin resistance. A can of soda contains almost 40 grams of sugar, nearly double the limit for women. Even a so-called healthy granola bar may hide 15 grams instead of juice. Choose whole fruit, where fiber slows absorption. Instead of sweetened tea, brew herbal infusions like chamomile or rooibos that hydrate without sugar or caffeine. By making hydration intentional and sugar limited, you are clearing a pathway for oxygen-rich blood to reach your brain cells smoothly. The next step is not about drinking or eating at all. It is about moving, specifically a small but mighty action that can be done after every meal. Part 3. Walking after meals. After each meal, your blood sugar naturally rises. In older adults, those rises are steeper and last longer. High post-meal glucose damages the lining of arteries and raises inflammation, both key contributors to stroke. But walking for even 10 minutes after eating can reduce the spike by over 20%. The mechanism is simple. Your muscles use that sugar for fuel immediately, preventing it from lingering in the bloodstream. Walking also lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, and combats fatigue. Researchers from New Zealand found that 3 short walks of 10 minutes each day, timed after meals, were more effective at controlling blood sugar than one 30-minute walk at another time. For stroke prevention, the after-meal walk is uniquely powerful. In practice, it requires no gym and no schedule. After breakfast, walk around your kitchen while tidying. After lunch, step outside for a stroll in the garden. After dinner, walk in your hallway, up and down a few times. If the weather is poor, simply walk in place while listening to music or speaking with a friend. The key is movement, not scenery. Make it social. Invite a neighbor or call a relative while moving. This habit improves balance and reduces fall risk as well. Older women especially benefit because bone strength and coordination are supported by regular light activity. Think of these 10 minutes as medicine, only more pleasant. The reward is immediate clarity in the mind and looser legs. The long-term reward is protection from vascular strain that silently builds during sedentary evenings. If you thought such a small action could not matter, realize that 10 minutes of walking 3 times a day equals over 30 hours of healthy movement per month. That is a prescription every senior can afford. And yet, food seasoning, something just as ordinary as walking, can also determine whether your arteries stay flexible or become brittle. Let us turn to the salt shaker next. Part 4. Reducing salt and embracing flavor. High blood pressure is the #1 modifiable risk factor for stroke. And the most powerful driver of high blood pressure is sodium overload. After 65, the kidneys filter sodium less efficiently and blood vessels stiffen more easily. That means every pinch of salt carries more weight on your arteries than it once did. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for older adults. About 2/3 of a teaspoon, yet the average diet contains over 3,400 milligrams, more than double the safe amount. What makes this dangerous is not just the salt you sprinkle on food, but the hidden sodium in packaged and restaurant meals. Canned soups, deli meats, frozen dinners, salad dressings, and even breads are loaded with salt. In fact, nearly 70% of the sodium consumed each day comes from processed foods, not the salt shaker. This hidden intake quietly raises systolic blood pressure, sometimes without any symptoms until a crisis occurs. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology shows that reducing daily sodium by 1,000 milligrams lowers systolic pressure by 5 to 6 millimeters of mercury. Every 10-point reduction in systolic pressure reduces stroke risk by over 20%. That means just cutting back on processed foods and seasoning less can be as effective as many medications in stroke prevention. But lowering salt does not mean living with bland meals. Nature provides a pharmacy of flavor that not only replaces salt but actively protects arteries. Garlic contains allicin, a compound shown to reduce cholesterol and improve circulation. Turmeric contains curcumin, an anti-inflammatory that calms vessel walls and improves blood flow. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, basil, and oregano add fragrance and provide polyphenols that fight oxidative stress. Lemon juice and vinegar brighten flavors while naturally lowering sodium cravings. Olive oil, rich in antioxidants and healthy fats, enhances satiety and protects brain tissue. Imagine roasted vegetables, tossed in olive oil with minced garlic, rosemary, and a squeeze of lemon. The sodium is minimal, the flavor is rich, and your arteries remain supple rather than constricted. To begin reducing salt without overwhelm, try simple substitutions. Use half the salt you normally would and double the herbs. Taste before salting automatically. Buy low-sodium versions of staples like broth and canned beans. Cook more meals at home where you control the ingredients. Within 2 to 3 weeks, your taste buds adapt, and foods once thought bland will taste naturally satisfying. The benefits of reduced salt go beyond blood pressure. It decreases water retention, reducing strain on the heart. It prevents stiffness in blood vessel linings, lowering the risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. It improves kidney function, which in turn supports overall vascular health. One patient I advised began by cutting out canned soup and switching to homemade vegetable broth. Within 6 weeks, her blood pressure dropped from 155/90 to 130/75, reducing her need for medication. So the message is clear. Salt reduction is not deprivation. It is liberation from a silent killer. With creativity in the kitchen, you can enjoy food more than ever while protecting your brain. If flavor can heal, what else might be quietly shaping your stroke risk? The next habit is not about what you eat, but how you rest. Sleep, often ignored, may be one of the most powerful stroke prevention tools of all. Part 5. Sleep and caffeine awareness. Sleep is not just rest. It is active medicine for your heart and brain. Yet many seniors underestimate its power. Research shows that up to a quarter of strokes occur during sleep or in the first hours after waking. Poor or irregular sleep raises nighttime blood pressure, disrupts hormones, and increases inflammation, creating the perfect storm for stroke risk. Inconsistent sleep schedules are especially damaging. A large study in the journal Neurology found that adults with irregular sleep-wake times had over 20% higher stroke risk, even if they slept the same total hours as others. That means the body's internal clock, the circadian rhythm, matters as much as how long you sleep. To protect your brain, aim for consistent bed and wake times 7 days a week. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Avoid screens. And create rituals like reading or gentle stretching to signal rest. Caffeine is another silent disruptor. While morning coffee can be safe, caffeine lingers in the system for 6 to 8 hours. After 60, the liver processes it more slowly. So an afternoon cup at 3 p.m. may still disturb your brain at bedtime. Even mild sleep loss reduces deep restorative phases when blood pressure naturally dips, leaving vessels under constant stress. To counter this, set a personal rule: no caffeine after 2 p.m. Instead, try chamomile tea, rooibos, or lemon balm. These options calm the nervous system and support better sleep. Quality sleep lowers cortisol, improves glucose regulation, and restores the elasticity of blood vessels. It also strengthens memory and mood, both of which are tied to overall recovery if a stroke ever occurs. I recall a patient in her 70s who suffered from high blood pressure resistant to medication. Once she committed to a consistent bedtime and cut caffeine after lunch, her blood pressure dropped by 10 points within 2 months. She reported clearer thinking and more energy without adding any new pills. The lesson is simple. Sleep is not a luxury. It is a frontline defense against stroke. Protect your nights with consistency and protect your days by respecting your body's limits with caffeine. If rest is medicine, then the next habit is your daily checkup. 1. You can perform yourself in minutes. It involves your heartbeat and may be the single most important rhythm you ever learn to listen to. Part 6. Checking your heartbeat for atrial fibrillation. Among all stroke risks, one often goes unnoticed: an irregular heartbeat known as atrial fibrillation. This condition increases stroke risk by up to 5 times because irregular heartbeats allow blood to pool and clot. If a clot travels to the brain, the result is often severe. Many people with atrial fibrillation feel no symptoms, so it is called the silent threat. But it can be detected at home with nothing more than 2 fingers and a watch. Sit quietly. Place your index and middle finger on your wrist just below the thumb and feel your pulse. A normal rhythm feels steady, like tick-tock. If it feels uneven, with skipped beats or sudden flutters, this may be a sign of atrial fibrillation. Other symptoms include fatigue, dizziness, shortness of breath, or a pounding sensation in the chest. These signs should never be ignored. An electrocardiogram performed at a clinic can confirm the diagnosis in minutes. Treatments range from medication that prevents clots to devices that restore rhythm. Catching this early can prevent devastating outcomes. One 80-year-old woman I worked with felt only mild fatigue, which she blamed on aging, but a home pulse check revealed irregular beats. A hospital test confirmed atrial fibrillation. With treatment, her risk of stroke dropped dramatically. Every senior should check their pulse regularly, at least once a week, and keep track of the rhythm as well as the rate. This tiny habit takes less than a minute but can save decades of independence. It is also a reminder that prevention is not always about what you eat or drink. Sometimes it is about tuning into your body and catching danger signals before they grow. And once you learn to listen to your heartbeat, the next step is preparing your environment to support healthy choices consistently. That begins in your kitchen with planning ahead. Part 7. Preparing meals to prevent strokes. When hunger strikes, most people reach for what is easiest. For many, that means salty packaged food or sugary snacks. But with a little preparation, you can make the healthy choice, the easy choice. This is what I call prep to prevent. By preparing meals and snacks in advance, you reduce decision fatigue and temptation, ensuring your body receives the nutrients it needs every day. For example, fruit and nut salad cups are simple to prepare. Chop apples, pears, or grapes. Add blueberries and walnuts. Sprinkle with cinnamon and store in small containers. These are rich in antioxidants, fiber, and healthy fats, supporting circulation and reducing inflammation. Another idea is overnight oats. Combine rolled oats, chia seeds, unsweetened almond milk, and berries in a jar. Then refrigerate. By morning, you have a ready meal full of omega-3, soluble fiber, and stable energy. Preparation also helps manage portion size and reduces reliance on fast food. Cook large batches of quinoa, roasted vegetables, or soups, and portion them into containers. Place these at eye level in your fridge so they are the first things you see. Keep a grocery list of staples like olive oil, garlic, lentils, and leafy greens, so shopping is simple and consistent. Patients who prepare meals ahead are less likely to experience spikes in blood pressure or cholesterol. One 72-year-old man who adopted meal prepping after a mini stroke reported weight loss, improved blood sugar, and more energy within 3 months. The act of planning gave him confidence and control over his health. Stroke prevention thrives on consistency. By reducing reliance on last-minute decisions, you protect your brain without feeling deprived. And once your meals are in order, the next layer of protection comes not from food, but from the people around you. Because health is not just physical, it is also social. Part 8. The power of social connection. Loneliness is more than sadness. It is a biological stressor. Studies show that isolation raises stroke risk by over 30%. Older women especially are vulnerable, as they live longer and often outlive spouses or peers. Stress hormones like cortisol rise in isolation, increasing blood pressure and inflammation. Depression and anxiety follow, making it harder to stay active or cook healthy meals. The opposite is also true. Connection lowers stress, improves adherence to healthy routines, and provides accountability. A simple walking group at a local park, A senior yoga class or a volunteer activity at a library can transform mood and health. Even a weekly phone call with a friend provides emotional stability that protects the heart and brain. I recall Eleanor, a 72-year-old who suffered a transient ischemic attack. She was fearful and withdrawn. Then she joined a local senior walking group. Within months, her blood pressure dropped. She lost weight. And most importantly, she regained joy. Her friendship with another member gave her purpose and consistency. This story illustrates a vital truth. Stroke prevention is not only about arteries. It is about belonging. So ask yourself, who is in your corner? Who checks on you? And whom do you check on? If the answer is no one, make one small step. Call a friend. Join a community center. Even online support groups can create bonds that buffer stress and improve health outcomes. Protecting your brain means protecting your connections. And finally, the last habit ties all others together, tracking your numbers and visiting your doctor. Part 9. Tracking your health numbers. You would not drive a car without ever checking the oil. Your body is no different. After 65. Regular monitoring becomes your early warning system. The most important numbers are blood pressure, heart rate, cholesterol, blood sugar, and waist circumference. Aim for a blood pressure under 130/80. Resting pulse between 60 and 100. LDL cholesterol low. And steady glucose. A waistline above 35 inches in women or 40 inches in men signals higher metabolic risk. Keep a simple health journal once a week. Write down your blood pressure. If you have a monitor, your pulse, your energy levels, and any unusual symptoms like headaches or dizziness. Bring this to your doctor appointments. It helps them detect trends and tailor treatment. Do not forget your dentist and eye doctor. Gum disease and vision changes often signal vascular problems. This small weekly practice takes 5 minutes but offers peace of mind. One patient of mine tracked her numbers and noticed her blood pressure creeping up over 3 weeks. A quick medication adjustment prevented what could have been a major stroke. Prevention works best when it is proactive, not reactive. By knowing your numbers, you close the loop on prevention. Diet, sleep, exercise, hydration, and social support all matter. But without monitoring, small issues may go unnoticed until they are dangerous. Checking in regularly gives you control over your future. Doctor's final words. You have just learned 9 powerful daily habits proven to reduce stroke risk. From breakfast choices that calm inflammation to water that thins the blood naturally. From gentle walks after meals to herbs and olive oil that replace salt. From consistent sleep to watching your heartbeat. From preparing meals to building friendships. And finally, to tracking your health numbers. Each habit is simple yet transformative. Stroke prevention is not about fear. It is about freedom. It is about making choices today that protect your independence tomorrow. Remember, up to 80% of strokes are preventable. Your body still remembers how to heal. Every meal, every step, every night of sleep is a chance to rebuild. Do not wait for a crisis to force change. Begin now. Share these lessons with someone you love. Because knowledge only gains power when it spreads. If you found this video helpful, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and tell me how to improve. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you. Together we can create a future where aging does not mean decline, but wisdom. vitality, and independence. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and take action today.